Hello and welcome to Birmingham Wildlife Conservation Park in Planet Zoo. And this is the penultimate Planet Zoo video in this sort of, where there's been a lot in a row. The next one's going to be Blackpool Zoo, and that will also complete the catch-up project. So since Thorpe Park Phase 2, I've been catching up on building all of the places that I've been to and vlogged from that are suitable for these games. And because of a lot of time last year I didn't build anything, so it's been this big project, and now we're almost finished that. So here we are in the conservation park, and the first enclosure are the antelope. And just next to them we have the wallabies. Just opposite the wallabies there's the first improvised enclosure. The bird and monkey offerings are quite limited in these games, so the peacocks have to be used whenever there's like a colourful bird, a tropical bird. You kind of have to use the peacocks, but they're in like this aviary style enclosure. And just following the path down we've got John's Wood, which is interestingly named. Little nature walk. So this is positioned right next to the stream that runs around this park, and even though it's in Birmingham, it's in a very rural area because it's right next to Cannon Hill Park, so it is in a very nice location. And next up we've got the lemurs, and they're all kind of tucked away at the back of the enclosure, but you can see them a little bit as we get sort of, you zoom in into the back corner. And we're actually at the next enclosure now, the monkeys, but because of its position you can actually see a lemur through there. But yeah, here they are. They're supposed to be a different type of monkey, but they're capuchins in here instead. And this is what's in here known as the Monkey Conservation Centre. That's because it's a little bit more generic. It's supposed to be the Tamarin Conservation Centre, but in here we've got Japanese macaques. And yeah, it's a nice indoor enclosure. And next to them we've got the pigs, and very traditionally just lying down in the straw, lying down in the mud, in the shade. It's just such a peaceful life. And over here we've got the European lynx, which interestingly in real life, I went here a while ago and had an experience where, because the top of the enclosure is open, you can really get an educational view of the food chain sometimes, because pigeons can just fly in. And there was a lynx quite enjoying its meal with a pigeon in this enclosure. But yeah, you can see them there, the wildcats. Yeah, this enclosure is always one that sticks out. And in here we've got a much calmer animal, the tortoise. And just on the tortoise, there should be ibis, but instead we've got cranes. But at least we've still got a bird enclosure. And following this path along, we get to the bush dogs. And now we're right at the back section, and this is where the emperor tamarins can be found. These aren't actually emperor tamarins, they're another type of monkey, but they do at least have the right colour of facial hair, sort of roughly in the right place. And there's a fairly close look at one. And in here you've got the red pandas, which are always a really nice animal to see in places like this. It's always good to see them being conserved because they are endangered, they are a rare breed, and I know that they're also really popular. And here's quite a memorable enclosure. You've got the meerkats and the porcupines, and they actually share a habitat. You can actually see a meerkat popping out of the ground there. Yeah, meerkats, I mean, you see them everywhere, but I like how they share their enclosure with porcupines, which I think, in terms of what you see, especially in zoos in the UK, the porcupines are definitely a lot more interesting. I think I just prefer them as animals, personally. And once again, we've got monkeys. Again, these are capuchins. They're supposed to be squirrel monkeys. Again, at least the squirrel monkeys do look similar to capuchin, with like the face shape. Again, the colour of their fur is very similar, and it's definitely the most similar in the game. And again, we've got all the more monkeys in this enclosure. Again, not the same ones that you're going to find in real life. Also, like they're not emperor tamarins, they're not the same type of monkey as the other enclosure, but there's still animals in this area. And this is a bit of a different one. They're supposed to be loris, but these are a different type of primate. But they have like a really interesting way of moving around. But yeah, they look more similar to lemurs than monkeys, but then you can't really, you can't really tell, because sometimes animals look similar but are actually not related, and then look different and are related. But yeah, these are supposed to be like the nocturnal creatures that they just have big eyes, basically, and I thought that they kind of looked the most similar. But yeah, these are the giant tortoises, just across the path. And in here you've got the binturong, I think that's how it's pronounced. Yeah, quite a unique animal, these. Yeah, there's one right next to the glass just there. Yeah, they sort of look like cats and bears combined. But these were the ones in Dudley Zoo. When I built Dudley Zoo, they had issues with climbing, so they kept trying to climb out of their habitat. But basically, they just need glass walls around the edge, or a wall that you can't climb. Because even if you try and do an apiary style enclosure, they won't recognise the roof as part of the enclosure, so they'll still climb out. In here there's a reptile house. There's a snake here, which I don't think you can see. It's quite unusual that you can't see a snake. But in the next enclosure, there's pretty clear a green snake just in there. And there are a few improvisations in this walkthrough area as well. You've got tropical frogs in here. yeah, it doesn't look like you can see things in here. But you've got a snake in this enclosure that you can see. Over here you can see the reptile though, it's just hiding underneath the rock. And leaving the reptile house, going past the binturongs again, and the otters are in here. Of course they have a water pool they can swim in as well, and their land is just over at the back. Just over here is a nocturnal house as well, in real life. The improvised animals in here, I don't think any of them are actually nocturnal, but you've got prairie dogs, which are the sort of less common relative of the meerkat. You don't really see these very often in zoos or anything. You've got the, it's a different type of macaque, yeah, the lion-tailed macaques. And then in this enclosure, I did have to get some of the animals fed because the staff hadn't got to a certain area, so we had protesters, but that's all sorted. There are sloths, but they're different types of sloths in real life. And it's also not a walk-through enclosure, but you can't really properly do it not as a walk-through enclosure. So yeah, here's where you can find the sloths. They are really super animals, but they still move around as if they're just mammals. I mean, the sloths have always got to be a highlight of any place where you're going to find them, if you can see them at least. And it brings us out opposite the crane. in here you've got the Komodo dragon, which did have to have quite a big habitat. It's got an indoor area and an outdoor area, and it's also got its own name for this area, the Dragon's Den, or the Dragon's Lair. And yet again we've got another monkey enclosure using the Japanese macaques. And yeah, they're supposed to be another type of tamarin, but there's not like any orange monkeys in this game, so I couldn't use anything else really. I've got a type of red or orange lemur here. I don't think it's the same type as real life, but there are lemurs in here and they are sort of that colour. And just around, this is next to the giant tortoise, there's ocelots, which are a smaller type of wild cat. I don't think you see these very often. I mean, most people probably know ocelots are from Minecraft, but no, they are based on a real type of cat, and they're just not that well known as like a wild cat. And here's a much closer look at the giant tortoise. And these are just an animal you could watch all day.
Zou alleen maar temmen zo
Now you follow the path around back to the sort of entrance section. I did have to get rid of that screen because they used to, as an improvisation, they used to share their habitat with the prairie dogs, but that never worked out. So there are just capybara in here. Yeah, this is just opposite the antelope. Yeah, there they are. So they've got their own water as well because they are mammals that spend a lot of the time in the water. And I know these will be your favourite because they're probably the most popular animal at the moment. Like, the king of the jungle is the lion, the king of the internet is either the sloth or the capybara. It's probably the capybara at the moment. Although, could beavers take over because of hoppers? I saw that yesterday. Brilliant film. But yeah, so the capybaras, they're just so peaceful. Like, that's why people like them, because they just get on with every animal. They can ride crocodiles and are absolutely fine. And this is the sort of main entrance monkey enclosure. And again, we've used the lion-tailed macaques here. And yeah, this is the sort of the first monkeys. These are the first monkeys you're going to see as you come into the park, right by the entrance. And another one of the animals you're going to see first are the rhea, and they're just opposite the monkeys. And that wraps it up for the Birmingham Wildlife Conservation Park. So it's not massive, but there's still a lot to cover here, really. Yeah, there's a lot of different animals, and it's a really nice day out. I haven't been there for a long time, for about 4 years now. You can just see a balloon disappear into the distance. I do like that feature. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been there. I need to go back. Also, I need to go back to the Telford Exotic Zoo, because I've been there a few times, but I've never actually covered it. I'll try and go when there's a fun fair on, so I can get a POV of the ghost train that goes next to it as well. But yeah, that's a really underrated gem.